as cozy as you would like to have it, but otherwise you wouldn't want to use Rebol. You have encryption, you have all the file formats, you have all this stuff. But when it comes to like a fat, nice chair when you sit in and relax, it's not always that case in Rebol. And just to pick up another thought, one thing why it's so dense it is because they reuse powder. Another thing is because if they have their strict type system, it doesn't matter if you have a bit operation and you take two values and make an OR from it, or if you have an image as a native data type, and Rebol already knows how to use this as an array of bits, and you make this OR operation over that. And you have all the image manipulation, therefore you have also an example, sometimes images a little bit converted, so that's live, that's not some JPEG with already Photoshop. No, they do that with their own operations, and then make some art with that, with their own words they know. Because the logic behind is just the normal logic you have in Perl 2 and or what you have, and plus the typing system. And much of it falls then out. And that's the kind of elegance I really like. And that's why they can be so dense in top. This is OP. Of course, they also know their shortcomings, and with the new generation, it's like it's not completely like our Perl 6. It's not as ambiguous, but ambitious. Sorry.
The other may also be true.
But they want a little bit for open source. This means you can actually write extension to the interpreter that it can be, you don't have to, but it can be open source. The API to the core will be open. And but until now you can do just objects. Our use is there do, like it was in Perl 4. Like do this script and then you have loaded something. Of course, Unicode has arrived. We'll have two.
Double the size of their image.
I don't know. No, they are still under a Mac. I don't know how they done. Some debug hooks that you can, like there is no real editor. Like I thought, the included does almost nothing. Still 10 up. But they use other editors, but like they have also no IDE, and that is their debug hooks and other things. There will be some debugger with more comfort, and also in the GUI they make something easier, because with small things like decay is optimized for, it really works good. But I showed you a simple example. But there are larger which can get messy, and for that one they optimize too. The big question, of course, is what we can take out of it. I saw last German workshop, I all was impressed because it goes a little bit in that direction. It is.
I'm trying to get that to Perl 6 too. It's a very small area.
Yes, they overload operators. It's very dense. It's even denser than Slurp. And I think that's one of the way to go. Of course, in Perl 5 we can't touch the core as some will, but there is an Perl API opening. That I read the plans for Perl 14, 5.14 and such. They already got it partially for 5.10 and 5.12. That the Pragma feature goes that way, that they do some features, even what you had before, like some XS hackery, you can now do in Perl, pure Perl. And so you can introduce words and make things just dense. So there will be an opening space in the Perl language to do more Rebol-like magic. Of course, in modules, we can also try to optimize more to make APIs simple for beginner levels, but more, but still extendable if you go in the deeper level. studied, therefore is prima, because in some parts they do it right, not in all. There are still room to improve and also scale it. If you have a real application, then you still do less messy, but I think it's worth to go, because the nice thing in Prima is that they have also some native things, like Rebol does it, and the rest of it is made in Perl on the Perl side, and so you can, with not as much Perl, get on the one side a nice API and also program it pretty dense and build of it, and you have still the C side who makes it considerably fast. I don't see myself in a position to make a complete widget toolkit for it, but it was a nice thought at last. And what I'm really tempted to do is when we do the WX binding for +6, that we put a layer on top to build an API that goes in that direction. That we have the nice looking of WX, but also some dense syntax regular. Yeah, that's basically my slides. Thank you. Questions?
This is not really a question, but testimony about my usage of Rebol. I think what is done right in Perl 6 is to have more literals to use object in the language. So, for example, I think that in Perl 6 we will get we are literals for file names. So in our source code we always write file path with slash and not use file like cat file to complex path. And I think we need to have those things for dates, for time, for
this like this metadata helps in having yes. Yeah, but yes, because it also goes in that direction that you not also many operators have their context, and in many cases it's auto conversion or put into another context when they put the right sub somewhere there or object in it that converts it in that context, but you have still the logical complexity of that thing, so you can still be logical correct, manipulate with it, and not just a string just and mash it together and like we did in the old Perl days. Yeah. That I appreciate. I think it's important.
Many of these things in Perl 6 we not you look at that is also one of the things I really liked about Rebol when I first saw it, was all these very practical literal, but it's one of those things that we haven't necessarily put into Perl 6, since Perl 6 isn't not aiming at the same problem space.
Not programming in the small.
Yeah, we already have a language that does that. And that was where we got in trouble with earlier Perl. So we're actually aiming more for programming the large, or something that scales from small to large in Perl 6. So for something like that, what we're trying in Perl 6 is not so much to just throw all those things into the language, but to get it to a point where it's very easy to add them to the language. So at the top you could say use rem types or something like that, and suddenly you can say HTTP colon whatever types of dates, and make it very easy to add those things to the grammar if you want. So in a lot of different areas we're trying not to pull everything into the language, but to make it just one step removed.
You're reading now from my talk proposal for that, because I said it's a no-brainer to make that in Perl 6. I'm talking more about the fact.
Yeah.
I think it's a big report. Not seeing I don't think go so far as we would, for example, trying to date in Rebol is just date written in ISO 8601, but we could have in process QD code for
That's
base.
easy. Yeah, you have to think about the ambiguity with the existing code. But you know, something that starts off HTTP colon is fairly unambiguous. But if you have to like look for digits and look for some set of delimiters.
It's how they do the Rebol too. The HTTP is like their residual.
But if you have something like that defined as a single token, and that's unambiguous as a longest token match, Perl 6 will do it. So, yeah, most of the time it should be fairly easy to add, and it'll be fairly unambiguous because of the longest token match process. And because as with this, it's doing multiple dispatch across all the rules and doing longest token matching across all of them, it should usually do what you want. If you're more specific and give a longer token match, it should recognize it. So it's only when you have an ambiguous prefix that goes to several rules that you might end up depending on the order that you do.
How did you come across Rebol? Why did you? What were you doing when you saw this?
I really want to know.
Is that bad?
No, it's not that, but it leads a little bit the realm of IT. I'm interested also in automatics and also different esoterics, and I have had two projects for programs. One is to put some ideas I have into graphics. It's a little bit like fractals, but it's even more than. And I see like it's that hard with a Paint DC, under WX. And I see it's so easy under the Rebol to do that same. So I was just learning. I'm not yet written that program yet, but learning for that I can do this simple. The other stuff is I have written a program for astrological calculation. Like I said, we put from URLs the actual dates for today's rising of the sun and so on. Makes the rest. And there can the other the examples with parts from and but that one I discovered on the way. Hey, that must be easier, and so I played with them, and they will get a bit more complicated as there are more complex rules of physics that I will apply to the program. But yeah, that was the two things I want to do.
And you already knew about Rebol, or somebody said something to you, or you read about it somewhere?
I'm generally interested in programming language, and I don't know how I just stumbled upon it.
Today's my first day hearing about it.
Standard, maybe.
I heard about it the very first announcement because I think they were announcing it on some Perl forum or another, saying, "Oh, if you like Perl, you like Rebol." We all said, "We all."
Yeah, yeah. But I missed that.
Yeah, that was quite some time ago. It must have been. It's pre-Perl 6. I think it was sometime in the 1990s.
Yeah, I came to Perl in 2004.